All right, we're going to talk about Michael Jackson. So, I went and saw the movie last night with my siblings, and I thought generally it was enjoyable. So, for now, what we're going to talk about, and I'm just kind of like talking, I'm just kind of speaking my thoughts. I'm not really scripting any of this, but just going to talk about the movie. And really, I'm going to focus on the movie and not so much on like Michael Jackson as a whole. Because I think the movie was trying to do very specific things, and I want to explain what those were. I personally grew up very sheltered, so I did not like know anything about Michael Jackson really. I knew a little bit about his later life, but like his earlier career, how he got into music, I didn't know any of that. So this movie, it jumps you straight back to that time. It starts out just before they formed the Jackson 5. And it kind of follows that journey. Their dad was the manager. He was a rough manager, let's just say. And he was manipulative and like trying to use, at least this is how the movie presented it. He was trying to use the kids to like get more and more fame and grow the brand, which was the family. The family was the brand. And so it follows that story. And the main tension is between Michael Jackson and his dad. Michael Jackson wants to go do his own thing. He wants to be the biggest pop star in the world. And, the story is presenting that perspective. And so it follows that for a little while. And then it just kind of like abruptly ends, which I felt like it just kind of like abruptly ended. But it got the story part. It completed its story arc that it was trying to tell. It's not trying to tell the whole story about Michael Jackson. It's trying to tell the specific story about how he went from a child star to doing this family band thing for 20 years, and how he ended up breaking out on his own and becoming his own star. That's the story. It doesn't get into anything past that. And it doesn't even really get too much into the weeds in that story. It does its thing. So I thought that was kind of interesting. It's a very positive movie depicting, Michael Jackson in the best light. And it's a movie made, I think, for his fans. So obviously, they tell some of the best parts and they show him in the best light. So I think that's kind of their goal. And so that's going to change how people approach the movie, I think. And I'll explain kind of a theory I have in a little bit. But let's talk a little bit more about the movie itself. So I thought it was very well made. Like the actual video, like the actual filming, the movie was very well done. Like the choreography, the music, obviously, I can't remember, but I thought I read somewhere that it was like a mix of actual Michael Jackson actually singing the songs and the actor who is actually Michael Jackson's nephew, singing kind of part of it. So I thought that was actually an interesting part. It's Michael Jackson's nephew was playing Michael Jackson, and he did such a good job. Like, I could have believed for 2 minutes or 2 hours that this guy was actually Michael Jackson. Like, he did such a good job. So bravo to him. This was his first movie, which is just like crazy. And yeah, he just crushed it. Totally crushed it. They totally crushed all of that kind of stuff. Where I thought that it kind of lacked, where it kind of dragged a little bit, was with the actual story, telling the story cohesively, because it kind of at times would just jump from scene to scene without any like logical flow, which isn't a huge deal. It just kind of, it pulled me out a little bit where I was like, I don't know about, I feel like we're jumping from thing to thing and I don't really understand why we're jumping. Again, if you already know so much about his life, then this probably would make more sense. But for me, coming in completely blind, I'm like, I don't understand the connection between these different things. And so that was a little bit confusing. And then of course it feels like it ends abruptly, but I do think it ends at a logical conclusion. It was trying to tell this certain story. And I think if you go in expecting it to be more than that, then you're going to be disappointed because you're like, hey, why did it stop early? But if you understand the story that it's trying to tell, then I think you could be satisfied with the ending. And I know, like, again, I have a theory about how different people are going to enjoy this movie. So I'll explain that a little bit in a little bit. What they didn't skip on or skimp on are Michael Jackson songs. So I hate to compare it to the Elvis movie because it's just so different. The Elvis movie is completely different. But if you watch the Elvis movie, you see that they mix in some different music. So they mix in music that was inspired by Elvis, but is more like modern artists, which I thought was kind of an interesting take. Like, instead of just showing Elvis and his music, it's like show the more of the legacy that Elvis led in the music industry. This Michael movie is not like that whatsoever. It's just 100% Michael, just full send. It's the Jackson 5 too, but like it's all of their songs and it's their song. Like they play the songs in their entirety, and not every song, but like a lot of the songs, they play them from start to finish. And so if you're not expecting that, that can be kind of surprising too, where you're like, man, they're just playing the whole thing, aren't they? In that sense, it felt a little bit like a concert film where it's jumping from song to song and almost explaining how the songs came to be without really explaining some of it. It doesn't explain why the song was written, and maybe I'm missing something, but it's not really about the songs. The songs are there to kind of support the story a little bit, but they're almost there because the story happened, if that makes any sense. Like, at this point, this song was written, so let's put this song in the movie. That's how it felt. And again, that's kind of that logical flow where it's like, that feels disjointed, but whatever. But yeah, they played the songs. So in that sense, it kind of felt like a concert movie where you're showing the concert, the singing, the dancing, everything, which is amazing. And in this movie, very well done. But you kind of, if you're not thinking that, then, you might be a little bit surprised. What else? I mean, it I think was generally a pretty good movie, but I think what is going to determine what's going to make or break this as a movie is going to be down to each individual and what they think about Michael Jackson as a person. I really think that's where the dividing line is. If you grew up with Michael Jackson or you like his music and you know a little bit about his life, like, this is going to be a great movie. You're going to love it. If you're like me and you are coming in totally blind, you don't know anything about him, then I think it could go either way. If you already have opinions about him and you're like, I don't like him, I don't like his music, then this is like, don't go see this movie, because it's a whole lot of Michael Jackson. And it's a whole lot of his music too. And it's his music in entirety. So that's kind of where I'm landing. Like, that's my theory, is what you think about him as a person is how you're going to approach this movie. Because I think the movie, it's a really basic, biopic. Like, it's just written in a really basic way. And it just kind of gives you the songs and the dances and the story. But the movie itself isn't really that great, if that makes sense. People are showing up to the movie theater because this movie has blown every other biopic out of the water. Like, I think Bohemian Rhapsody did like 62 million or something like that on the opening weekend. This one's already at like 96. It's like insane numbers. And those numbers might not be exactly right. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I think what's happening is people are showing up to the theater to see Michael Jackson. They're not showing up to the theater to watch a movie. if that makes any sense. It makes sense in my brain. Like, the movie is just the medium to show Michael Jackson doing his thing again. And that's, if you like Michael Jackson, you're going to like the movie. That's where I'm landing. So yeah, interesting movie. If, again, that's my opinion. And let me know what you think. Let me know if you enjoyed the movie. What did I miss? I'm not sure. If you made it this far in the video, good on you. And I'll be looking forward to talking to you in the next one.